I feel mixed emotions about my performance. Obviously, anytime you get a win, you get a finish, feels, that's a good thing. But I don't really compete, fight, and train just to get a win or to get a finish. So that being said, I think there's a lot to improve on, a lot that I could have done differently. But I'm grateful for the experience. Got to the second round for the first time in my career. Got punched in a real fight for the first time in my career. So, those might not seem like good things, but I think they'll only help me in the long run.
What specifically are you kind of unhappy with your performance with? What do you think you do need to work on?
Well, I'll be honest, that $300K bonus got me trying to knock this dude out like right away. But I can't. I think be easily, drawn into that type of fight, just because that's pretty much the only type of fight I'm going to lose. Anytime the fight, as everybody saw, as the fight continued, I was widening the gap and landing more shots and starting to dominate and control. And I think I can do that at the beginning without, getting wild and brawling at all. So, a little frustrated with myself in that, but it's a learning, it's a learning experience, it's a lesson. And, hopefully I'll get a quick turnaround and be able to get back in the octagon soon and just grow from that.
At the end of that first round, especially in that first round, when you took him down, you kind of went on the defensive right away, and even at the end, he just kind of held you before. So what did you make of what he presented to you in that?
It was a good strategy, just trying to hold on. At the same time, for me, I felt like the longer the fight went, the better off I was, and the more tired he was going to be, the less he was going to be able to defend me. So, I knew the finish was going to come. But it is frustrating when a guy's just, trying to hold on. And I know he was, trying to get let back up by the ref. And, his coaches were screaming, let him back up and stuff. But I was advancing position as much as I could and just controlling the fight. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's what I needed to do. More frustrated with how I handled getting to the takedown initially and just leaving myself a little vulnerable in my mind.
Are you surprised by the frosty receptions you've had at the press conference and then in the fight time?
It's interesting. Well, I felt like at the fight it was a not frosty reception. I felt it was very positive. I really didn't hear any boos at all coming out, a lot of cheers. And I think that's more indicative of how the fans actually feel. At the press conference and a lot like the smaller events, you get the diehards, right? The guys that are watching every single fight, and they're obviously more frustrated with me being on the main card. But I think the general fan, the mass of people, these people like me a lot, and I'm going to turn these hardcores around too, just because I'm going to keep performing, keep doing my thing, and I'm one of these guys. I watch every fight. I've studied the sport, and it is weird that I was on the main card. I'm 5-0. I haven't fought anybody ranked, anybody good. That's crazy. But the reality is, a lot of people want to see me fight. And even if you're mad about it, you're going to watch.
You said you wanted a quick turnaround. Are you eyeing a big fight card, like International Fight Week at the end of June, or would you like more time
off? I'm thinking probably August, because if I can get a fight in August, then elk archery season's all September, so I can get a fight in August, archery season, and then get right back on it for December. But I wouldn't mind June or July, so we'll see.
Well, August I think is going to be Perth, Australia. That's the pay-per-view. Would you go all the way over there?
Shoot, that doesn't sound bad. I've never been to Australia, but I do have a decent amount of Australian fans. I think been on the same card as a few Australian greats, so that might be fun.
Last one from you. Did you see Hamzat's tweet about your fight?
No, what did he say?
He said the wrestling was big bullshit.
Yeah, this guy's crazy, man. I think, obviously, like I said, I'm not happy with the way I performed either, so it's easy to be critical. And it's easy to be critical, of me, a guy who has less experience. But at the end of the day, I'm getting finishes. This guy's winning decisions. And, he's gassing out at the end of rounds. I'm widening the gap. So, if we ever fight, he's coming out hot, but I'm probably winning, first round, second round, third round against this dude and widening the gap. Every day I widen the gap on that guy, to be honest.
Hey, Bo, right here, just one. Obviously, we talked about fatherhood at Media Day. When your son's a little older and he can understand a bit, what are you going to tell him about this UFC victory?
I don't think I'll bring it up. I don't think I'm really going to be bringing up any of my past accolades. Once my son's older and doing his own thing. I'll probably just be focused on him and helping him do whatever he wants to do. You know, whether he wants to play sports or play piano or whatever he wants to do, I'll be focused on that and, you know, let him carve his own path.
If he watches some videos like that, that's crazy. What were you thinking? What do you think your answer's going to be?
Like, to be honest, Bud, I wasn't thinking that much at that point. You know, I think I let, you know, definitely the emotion of the situation, I won't say get the better of me, because I still obviously did what I needed to do, but I just expect perfection. And if it's not perfection, then I'm going to be critical.
Hey, Bo, over here, you mentioned post-fight about a possible matchup against Fluffy Hernandez. Just looking at him as a fighter, how do you feel like your style kind of matches up against his?
I just think that would be a fun fight, a great fight. He's a guy that has great cardio, wrestling, good striking, he's well-rounded, and got a big win in his last fight. And I think that's, you know, and then very, very shortly, if it's not my next fight, it'll be soon, but that's the type of guys that I want to be fighting. You know, I don't even, he was just the name that came to my mind because I watched this fight recently, but any of these guys, you know, around that ranking, around that part of the division are guys that I'm ready for. You know, if I have to get a couple more fights before I'm fighting ranked guys, then that's fine. That's a discussion between myself and the UFC. But you know, I want to start fighting better guys, and he's a guy I see as a better fighter.
And I asked this before the fight as well, but you know, and you also mentioned maybe not your favorite performance tonight in the cage, but Hernandez is ranked. I think that's something that people want to see, is you fighting someone in that top 15. So with this, do you feel like if it's not Fluffy Hernandez, someone in the rankings at least?
It doesn't really matter to me. It's a conversation between, like I said, myself and the UFC, and we'll see what makes sense. But I want to start getting to that point, you know. I think that this was a great experience for me. Like, I'm you know, a few minutes more removed. Also, did Armin win?
Armin won, yeah.
Let's go. ATT, baby. Yeah, love Charles, but got to go with ATT.
I'm just going to throw out one other name to you quickly, and just because he fought recently, and it looks like he's still got something left. Chris Weidman, is that a fight that would interest you, just as a vet who's kind of, you know, and getting towards the end of his career? We saw Holly Holm and Kayla tonight, who fought, you know, Kayla's your teammate, obviously. Is that something that would entice you at all, you and Chris Weidman?
No, I love Chris Weidman, man. He's awesome. You know, I did my post-weigh-in interview with him in D.C. Yesterday, and I love that dude. He's a guy, you know, I've watched him for a long time before he was ever champion, and, you know, a fellow wrestler, fellow All-American. So, you know, while that would be a fun fight, I think that's not of interest to me at all.
But after the fight, Dana made a point to come over and talk to you as you were leaving the cage. I'm curious what exactly he was saying to you.
He just told me to, you know, great job, keep my head up, and keep doing what I'm doing, and that, you know, I'm going to be a massive star. And I think if anybody knows that, you know, what the future holds, it's him. He's been in this game and, you know, pushed this sport forward more than anyone, excuse me. And it was very cool for him to do that. You know, to me, that says a lot about him, not only as a promoter, but as a person, just because I'll be honest, I was like a little down on myself right after the fight, because I'm like, man, I just expect to starch all these guys, never get touched. But I did, you know, just get some adversity. And so, you know, with that, I think it was cool to hear from him, just some reassurance and, you know, right in that moment. I think that's just, that made me like him even more than I already did.